Hi and welcome to Slick Willy Fly. Today we're going to make a flatwing, and a flatwing is a truly simple fly, great action, catches a lot of fish, just a great fly, easy to cast, easy to tie. You can make this in a million colors and sizes, and I just love it. So I hope you're having a cocktail with me, and let's talk materials real quick. So in the vise I have a green, for lack of a better word. It's Grizzly variant, super simple. Here's an awesome brown that I tied earlier, and just love this Grizzly brown. And basically, look, I mean, we're gonna do a purple. I pre-prepped some purple feathers for the one we're about to tie, and I get it. These capes, are awesome, and they can get pricey. So my suggestion, I mean, I've been buying fly tying materials for decades. So I have all these colors, but this isn't something I went on and bought all in one day. If you're gonna buy your first cape, buy something in the browns, tans, olives, these natural colors, and you can catch a lot of fish with those, and then you can, as you start going into it, if you want pink or orange or in this case purple. I have a purple here which we're about to use, and you build your collection of fly tying materials, unless of course you're lucky enough to be sponsored or own a fly shop, which I am not. So yeah, so for the hook it's going to be an SE15 hook. I'm going to use black 100, this is 200 denier uni, 200 denier uni. For the body, I mean, I really like this one here. This was sculpting flash. This right here, sculpting flash fiber. Awesome, super easy to use, but you can even go easier. So I'm gonna go easier, and easier. Like for example, the one in the vise, I just used a brush. So for the one I'm about to do, I had a couple options. I got this purple, light purple brush. Got materials flying everywhere. But what I think I'm going to use instead is I have this EP brush in clear. It's called clear. It's got like a little flash to it, but it's 01 EP brush, clear shrimp brush. And then I showed you I had a couple of feathers ready. I got a couple of feathers sitting here ready to go. And then I have one more feather for the collar, and UV resin, and I have some eyes. I'm gonna have these 5mm yellow eyes because I think they look awesome with black thread and the purple feathers. And for the flash in between the feathers, it's gonna be a little bit of Flashablou Mirage Opal right here. And that's it. That's the whole fly. Super, super simple. This thing has awesome action. This thing just like, man, does this move in the water. So hope you're going to enjoy the video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Hope you're enjoying a cocktail with me. Let's change the camera angle and let's tie up a fly. Alright, let's get this guy out of the vise, and we're going to start like we always like I always do anymore, is I'm going to start with a little bit of super glue on the hook. Don't need much at all. I'm going to use my thread to move around that, smear around that super glue a little. And now I could start that in the wet glue like I like to do. You can do this fly in any color. You can do this in multiple sizes. I think this is a good size for my applications. And I'm going to catch some awesome inshore saltwater fish with this thing, and yeah, it's gonna be great. So I'm going to use, like I said, a little bit of EP brush. This is the first material, so we're just going to make sure that that wire is nice and hard. And now I'm going to make sure that I drag everything to the back. And we're just going to do this old school. I could easily do the rotary function here. I'm going to go ahead and get my thread out of the way. We're going to use the rotary function. Why not? So the important thing when you do the rotary function is that you do draw the fibers back. So I will draw everything back on every turn. And I'm just going to work my way almost to the eye. That's far enough right there. So now I can get my thread back in the game. Get my holder out of the way. Capture my thread. And not forgetting that this is wire. I'm going to go ahead and use wire cutters to trim that out. Just like that. Perfect. Make sure that that's down. So now I'm going to go ahead and put a little half hitch in and cut my thread off. Because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to trim up the body. So what's important here is that we end up with this body shape that we're looking for, this little slim baitfish profile. So I'm going to trim a little bit of the, it's actually not too bad. I don't have to trim much of anything, I don't think. In fact, I'm not going to. I'm going to work with it just like that. If I was using the sculpting fiber, then I would definitely have to trim. With a brush, that worked pretty good. Alright. So now I need to reattach my thread. So now you have to think about how far back do you want to attach the feathers so that you have room to make the head. So I need to draw my thread a little bit farther back, something like that. So now I'm going to put my first feather on. And you just want to have these shiny side up. And really, you just want to take your time and make sure that the feather ends up right where you want it. So a couple loose wraps, making sure that it's sitting exactly where you want it. And now I think I do want to trim some of that. I want to trim some off the top here, because that was making my feather go straight up. I think that's going to be way better. And you saw how easy that was. I didn't like the way something was, so I just backed off the thread and made it the way I wanted it. And once you're happy with that, I like that. That I can live with right there. You get it cranked in, nice and hard. And you can trim off this tag. So now it's one fiber is plenty of this Flashablou. One strand, more than enough. Could have made this video a lot quicker if I would have got stuff ready ahead of time, but we didn't. So we just gonna bear with me here. We're gonna tie this in right in the middle, again, right on top of that feather. So I find that the easiest way for me to do this is to go ahead and just put it on the thread like you see me doing, about as even as I can get it. And I take it right to the top of that feather and lock that in. Perfect. That came out perfect. So now it's my last feather for the Flatwing. I have one more for the collar. And again, shiny side up. And you want to get it so that it lays right on top of everything. Nice and flat. Hence the name. And that looks awesome. Love it. And having that fly in that orientation with those two wings right on top and the flash in between them, man, this just in the water, this just comes to life. This is awesome. A little bit of current. Oh, it's phenomenal. Now I'm making sure that the whole entire head is black. I'm going to bring my thread back to that tie-in point. I'm going to get the collar, the feather that I'm going to use for the collar. I'm going to peel a little bit off one side, and that'll help me get it started. Take off that tag end. Now you can use hackle pliers, or you can just do this the old-fashioned way like I'm doing right now. You don't need much. I would say, I don't know, 3 or 4 turns. You could put as much or as little as you want. Just go ahead and wiggle your thread through there. And capture that feather just like I did there, and then you can come in and carefully, try not to trim away all the collar, take off that tag. Now what I like to do is I like to push it back a little and bring my thread over. Sometimes it helps if you moisten, and just lay the collar down just like that. I prefer when my collar is kind of laid to the back. Yes. So now it's just a whip finish and some eyes and UV resin. Yeah, I've been tying this in deceivers, I've been tying it in with bucktail and all kind of different flies. I have just been really enjoying this this Flatwing. It's just that the action is awesome, and it definitely gets bites. I just love it. So for the eyes, I'm using these 5mm yellow because I think yellow looks great. Nice contrast to the purple. And sometimes they work great and the adhesive on the eyes is enough. Sometimes it's not. And if it's not, I have gel super glue ready to go. So I just center the eye using the hook shank as my guide, and then the same distance from the eye of the hook. It's important that these eyes are symmetrical so that the fly doesn't spin in the water. So it's important now that I take a second and I make sure that they are right where I want them. One is a little low. Much better. Much better. So now I'm going to use a thick UV resin right between the eyes, and this is going to lock it in. The last few resin videos I've made, I've actually fast forwarded through this portion, so I guess this one I'll just do it. So all I'm doing right now is I'm using UV resin between the eyes, and really at this point, once I've zapped it like this, these eyes aren't going to move. So there's like literally no rush, no stress at all going on here. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing underneath. Now I'm going to switch to a little bit thinner resin, and I'm going to go ahead and put a drop right on the eyeballs themselves, and then I'm going to work it off the eyeball and onto the UV resin that I've already done, and that pretty much makes them pretty darn bulletproof. Then I'm going to get a lighter and I'm going to singe off some of those wild hairs. So now I just use a little bit of gravity. Get this going nice, and once I'm happy with that, and I am, oh, that came out awesome. Super happy with the way this fly turned out. This is such a simple fly, but this fly is going to catch a lot of fish. Okay, so we're back. So there it is. Super simple, very slick willy fly, you know, classic style here with very few materials, super simple to tie. This is a great fly, easy to mix and match colors. You're only limited by your imagination. For me, this is going to be in short. For, you know, you, it could be steelhead or brown trout. It could be anything. This is a great fly, great action. It's going to get a lot of bites. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and good luck catching. See you on the next video.